Was strong, so my spirit feels alive. I fed my soul, so I'm leaving here full. But I got room for Sunday dinner with the saints and the sinners. Some of them church members and some of them ain't. Some of them could quote scripture and some of them can't. We all want the same thing between the sun and the moon. That's to have a place up in that upper room. So we walking down that hallway with the light at the end. Doors open, doors closed, some serving, some sin. But the end all depends on where you spend your faith. Because it's worth way more than you think. A man's strength lies in his ability to submit to the Lord. I get my soul on, my spirit's restored. Let's get on one accord and do the Lord's work. And life ain't a game, so let's stop playing church. Soul food, I got the Bible on my plate. So I eat my Sunday dinner every day, and I never get full. I always work seconds. We serve the same message, just to change in our methods. Soul food, I got the Bible on my plate. So I eat my Sunday dinner every day, and I never get full. I always work seconds. We serve the same message, just to change in our methods.
Hey, what's up, world? Virtual world out there. I hope everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, y'all can hear me good. My fellas, y'all good? We can hear me? Yeah, I hope everybody else can hear me. And we welcome to Let's Talk. I'm youth pastor Antoine Jackson. I got an awesome night for you all, conversation night for you all. I got my brothers on here tonight. I'm very excited. Well, I'm pumped for the night because I know they're gonna bring that fire. They're gonna bring that heavy content that we know we need in these times, man. It's as you know, these are some troubling times we living in, but at the end of the day, God still gets the glory. So we just would like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Thursday conversation right now. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna let my brothers introduce themselves, but before they do it, I'm just gonna start with a word of prayer. So I ask everybody out there in the virtual world just to first like and share it, start a watch party, do what you do, spread this conversation. We spread all this other stuff. I've seen 1 million people on the verses with Monica and Brandy. Y'all need to spread this gospel that we about to give y'all on tonight. Come on, let's get this thing popping. So let's have a word of prayer, then we're gonna get right into it. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to say thank you. Thank you, Jesus, just for being God all by yourself. We ask you that you just come into this setting on tonight, dear God. We ask that you just touch the hearts of the mind of your people, touch the hearts and the mind of your servants that decided to give you the glory, give you all the praise on tonight through this conversation about Black fathers in America, dear God. So we just ask that you just decrease us and increase Spirit. Have your way in this setting. This is our prayer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. I said it in the prayer, and we got a special treat. Like I say, it's a special treat. The conversation today is going to be about Black fathers. It's about Black fathers in America. As you see on the bottom, it's about Black fathers in America. I got 3 of some of the best men I know that are genuine. They are great fathers. Man, they on fire for the Lord. They real. You know, and let's talk. We want some real conversation. So I'm gonna step out the way. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I'm gonna start with my brother Ivan. Brute, you go next. Then Freeze, you end them off.
How you guys doing out there in Facebook world? My name is Ivan Carter. I'm looking forward to having a great discussion. I really feel that this discussion is needed. And I definitely want to shout out my kids. I love my babies. And I'm still trying to be the best father that I can be. And that's what it's all about. Thank you for having me, Antoine.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Brute.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Brute Grayer. I have 5 kids, so I'm a seasoned father. I've been a father now for about 30 years. My oldest child is 30 years old. Yeah, I got a 30-year-old, and I was really honored that Pastor Antoine invited me to share in this conversation on tonight. So I look forward to it. Look forward to sharing a little of my wisdom. I truly believe that I am the Caleb to this Joshua generation. So, we got to have somebody around to walk in wisdom. So I look forward to sharing my wisdom on and my experience on this evening as well.
Cadillac.
Amen. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Cameron. Everybody knows me as Freeze. I'm father of 2, a 5-year-old, and as parents say, a 14-month-old son. And so I'm excited about tonight. I know these brothers who are on the call. This is a conversation we have. So I'm glad that I can have this conversation with these brothers. Y'all already know Team Jesus in the building. Shout out to Joe Jack for having us tonight, and shout out to the Boogie and the Munchkin.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we're not gonna prolong it. Again, like it, share it, man. Share it on all your different platforms, man. Let's get this word out because we about to get heavy in it right now. So we're gonna go out the gate. Ivan, I'm gonna start off with you. Freeze, you gonna go second. Then we're gonna let the OG go last, right? That's on the right. Let the OG go last. All right. So the first question is, and we're gonna keep it. Hold on, before I get to this, I definitely wanted to do this, and we got plenty of time. If y'all brothers got time, I wanted to do this, right? I wanted to share this video first. Let me see if I can still do this. Share this video. Y'all let me know if y'all can see what's playing.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, I want to share this video, man, because this is gonna be about what we talking about, man. We all know what happened in this situation in Wisconsin, man, and this is why we here. I mean, that's why this might be a little graphic. I don't know how far it's gonna go, but we gonna keep it real on it. This is what we talking about tonight. We not gonna shy away from this right here. We know what happened with prayer for brother Jacob Blake out here in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So this is why we here. We see this. I don't think it's gonna get too graphic. So parents, if you watch with your kids, it ain't gonna get too graphic. But we just want to show this real quick before we get into our conversation. And I'm gonna stop it right there. We know what happened from then on there, right? We know what happened. So I'm gonna stop it right there. Give me 1 second.
That was tough.
It was.
That was tough. That was tough, fellas. That was tough.
Man.
That was tough. I'm not sure, what question Twan was gonna ask, but I think he's about to get back on. I'm not sure what happened to him, man, but that was tough, man. What's your feelings? Your first feelings when y'all seen that video, man? I wasn't even sure. I didn't even know he was gonna play that video. But what's your first feelings when you see that? Because there's twofold. Reading a little bit of the history, reading what took place. There's twofold for me. It's two. It's the unhealthy relationship side, and there's the social injustice, the brutality and the violence, and you shooting that man out cold like that. So there's twofold to me. What's your first feelings when you see that?
I know for me, one of the first things that I noticed personally was the people who were around, and for this to happen in front of so many people, I'm sure there were kids out there. He was a father; his kids were in the vehicle. So actually, my first thoughts were just, this is beyond a tragedy all over again. To see one of our brothers go through a situation, Ivan, I was helping you a couple weeks ago, last week, painting. We were talking about one of our friends who something similar happened to here in Columbia years ago. And, the question keeps coming up, why does this keep happening to us? And in this situation, I think for me, what really, really hit home was the fact that just like the rest of them, it really could have been me. You know, the officer grabbed him by his tank top as he was getting in the vehicle, leaning in the vehicle, shot him, and was still holding on to his tank top after he shot him. You know, and so again, the question comes, where does the line get drawn, where the level of accountability is actually put in place to, just like they do that to us. I'm not saying we should go around shooting them and killing them, but if we're gonna go to jail for doing those kind of things, they should be going to jail for the same things with no questions asked.
And for me, I definitely feel that it was excessive force as far as it relates to the officer, and there's other things that could have been done to kind of restrain that young man. But on the flip side of that, let me flip that. That should have been something inside of that young man also. Something went off in his head to let him know, okay, now I could be putting myself at danger. I could be putting my kids at danger by walking to the car. Because of course, to a cop, and this is the card that they played, that they felt like their life was threatened, right? And so, I mean, you got to look at it in that sense too. And it goes kind of like what I know what we're going to be talking about tonight as far as teaching our children. Somebody, that young man, like I said, something should have went off in his head to let him know, okay, might not be a good idea for me to walk to this car, like I said, because what it's going to look like to that cop is that his life is, at danger. I'm not siding with the police, and of course, what I'm saying is that there's two sides to that, to that event that took place. And there's a lot of preventive measures that should have been taken, or that could have been taken, to prevent that tragic incident.
Yeah, I appreciate you picking it up, man. I don't know what question. My fault, Freed. I was trying to end the video, and I exited out of my.
No question.
Yeah,
that's no question.
Okay, y'all. So we seen the video. I was following along with y'all. So what the first question is, we say Ivan, Freeze, then Brute. First question is, how worried? And we seen the video, right? We seen the video. How worried are you as a Black father about the safety of your children in this America? I ain't talking about past America. I'm talking about this 2020 America.
And I wrote some notes on this because I wanted to make sure I gave it a good thought. But the truth is, man, I'm worried, man. I'm worried. And I'm concerned, and I'm concerned because there's so many children who are becoming fatherless, and they're fatherless for many different reasons. They're fatherless because of, in my opinion, the way the DSS court system has vilified our fathers and turned some of our young women and our women into victims in a sense, and vice versa. And I'm concerned about the unhealthy co-parenting pandemic that we have that's affecting our children. I'm also worried about the Black father's state of mind because of the Black mother's state of mind as well. It's hard to separate the two, man. It's hard to just talk about the Black father, the state of mind of the Black father, without mentioning or talking about the impact that the mother's thinking is having on that father as well. Because I'm concerned about the way society and the way these social factors are influencing Black mother to invest in certain unhealthy relationships that eventually affect the child. I'm concerned about the family communication, man. I'm concerned about the way the families are communicating now, man. It's a lost art. Families aren't communicating in a healthy way to where it's producing positive outcomes, man. The way I'm not knocking or blaming society, or I'm not blaming per se women, but I do think society and women are playing a huge role in the way our Black men are viewing themselves. Because if society is saying you can be replaced or you need to be replaced, or if you are replaced, there's other people or things that can come into that child's life that are sufficient enough as a replacement for that father, when it's really nothing that can replace a father. In my opinion, the communication, man. When you have communication, and breakdowns in communication within the family, man, it affects the child, man. The child can't function in school. So holistically, man, I'm concerned, man. I'm concerned the way black men are being vilified, man. It's almost like everyone is treating the black man as if they're a villain, or they're automatically naturally aggressive. That's not necessarily the case. There are men who aren't aggressive, but people view them as aggressive because the way we act or the way we look or our mannerisms, and it's unfair, man, to the black man. And I'm concerned, Joe. To answer your question, I'm very concerned, man. The court, the DSS court system, man, is playing a huge role in fathers not being involved in the lives of the children. So it's kind of hard, the way we was raised. It's kind of hard to be a black man in this society, and you're having co-parenting issues, or you don't even have access to your child. So it's already an ego. Our ego is attacked already, because we feeling like, how am I going to be a father if I don't even have no rights, or if I can't even see my child because of the unhealthy relationship? Man, I'm telling you, it affects the family. But I'm gonna digress though, Joe. I can go on about that, man.
Oh, that's good, bro. Please pick him up. Please pick up where he left off at.
With the question, I love the way Ivan was careful to use words. He said he was worried. We are believers. There's a very thin line between worrying and being concerned. And
that's good.
I know when he said he's concerned, I'm concerned about so many of those other things. But even with that being said, I am concerned. I have a son who's 1.5, almost 1.5. And so I don't have to worry necessarily about the law enforcement issues with him yet. But even having, cousins and friends and anybody that of age as a young black man, when it comes to law enforcement, I'm concerned because of what Brute said and what Ivan said. The state of mind of us as African American, not just as African American, but as men, but especially when it comes to us. I was in a situation some years back where, long story short, I was pulled over. I was a passenger in the vehicle. Richland County officer pulled his gun out on me. Had it this close to my head. The only thing between my gun, his gun and my head was the window. And, by the grace of God, I made it out of that situation. But the first thing that concerned me in that situation was the officer's mannerisms when he arrived on the scene. And so, like Brute said, that triggered something in my mind that said, okay, I can't give this officer a reason to have the opportunity. Now, yes, there have been incidents where law enforcement, the person wasn't at fault for anything, and law enforcement still was excessively brutal towards them. But in the situations when we have kids who are old enough to be in a situation with law enforcement, we have to teach them how to not respond to the officers' words, their body language. A lot of these officers will antagonize, especially young black men, to try to get a reaction out of them. And I can't stress that enough that, number one, if you don't have a relationship with God, you need to get one now. And number two, you have to remember that every time you go out. You have to be concerned with making it back home to your children. Even if your children don't live with you, they're still a part of your life. So as being a black father in America, I remind myself of that every day that I leave the house. Like, don't do anything to jeopardize yourself from making it back home. And my main other concerns are, when we were growing up, most of us, we had a village surrounding us. nowadays, a lot of these kids, especially the young African American men, they have a village surrounding them, but the morals and the family values aren't the same as they were when we are. So there's not a lot of principalities instilled in these children. There's not a lot of there's different levels of accountability, which allows them to feel like they can do whatever they want and get away with it. And then if they can't have their way, then they feel like they can blame the world, and that's what gets us into a lot of these different situations. I know we're going to talk about it later, but the other thing mainly for me is being concerned about the absence of fathers in the household. I know a lot of good fathers who aren't with their children's mother, and that plays a major role into the generational curses that we need to break. So those are my main concerns. As far as being worried, and not to sound cliche, but I trust God with everything. Do I believe every day, whoever goes out, whether it's one of these brothers, I pray for y'all just like y'all pray for me the same way, because we have to experience the same thing, as Black fathers. So that's what I say.
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I want to address this question in two fashions, because I know we want to keep it real tonight. I know we want to pour out, what's in our hearts, but we also got to understand, there's a natural side of us, and then there's a spiritual side of us that keeps us balanced. So the natural side of me, yes, I am worried to death about the safety of our children, because one, these children and our children, they don't fear anything. They don't fear this generation. They have zero fear as it relates to anything. They're not scared of anything. They're not scared to try anything. So that new drug, that illicit drug, whatever it is, they're not scared to try it. They don't care what's in it. Trying different things, just being adventurous, that worries me a lot, because to me that says there are no limits, to these kids, and they will go to any extreme, some to please, their peers, some, to be that, that one. I don't know about y'all, but you know how it is when you were that guy, you'll do anything, what I'm saying, to try to please or try to impress the people. So yes, our children, they're not scared to do any of that. So, when you see these young people being harassed or being harmed by these officers and things like that, you gotta, like I said, it enters in my mind. What in the world was this child thinking? What were they thinking, or what were their thought process? You see what I'm saying? When they saw themselves, entering into this situation, it's got to be something inside of you that's like, okay, if I make this decision here that I'm getting ready to make, there's a consequence behind it. You see what I'm saying? They don't think like that. I worry, yes, about the safety of our children, because that's not their mindset. They don't think, they just act. You know what I'm saying? And then you find yourself in a sticky situation, and then, and we're blaming everybody but themselves. Now, my question is, like I said, it's going to be a natural side and it's going to be a spiritual side. Now, the spiritual side of me, the born again, that guy, I'm not worried as much. You see what I'm saying? Because God has made us promises, concerning our children. One promise, he promised that my children shall be as pure as the olive plant. So I'm looking for that. That's going to manifest at some point. So that keeps me balanced. You see what I'm saying? The spiritual side, it kind of supersedes the natural side. So I stay balanced so I won't worry too much. You see what I'm saying? Because if you worry too much, then you can't function. You got to be able to keep a clear head, or, when you worry too much, that's letting God know, look, you don't really trust, you see what I'm saying, what I've already said concerning your child. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, and that's right there, kind of. I'm gonna go with you first, second question, and then I'm gonna go with Ivan for the second response. Then Freeze, you gonna end it off. But you said that you kind of touched on the second question. As fathers, especially Black fathers, because it's a stigma with Black fathers. What are some things? I said you, but what are some things we are doing to protect our mental wellness. And you kind of, alluded to it with the, the physical and the spiritual man at times wrestling themselves. So what are some things as far as like that you do that you can probably advise to some young father out there or father as yourself? What are some things that you are doing to protect your mental wellness? Because I think a lot of times, especially Black people, man, we don't like to talk about mental illness at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, me for one, I'm a veteran, so yeah. I get professional. I get professional help. Like this week, I started another group. I'm not one of those ones that are ashamed to, hey, look, if it don't feel right up here, yeah, I'm not ashamed to, to reach out to somebody or to talk to somebody, because it's real important, that we confide in someone, because man, I've been to war, I've seen it, been there, done that. So I know I can't play around with mental issues, period, because I know how detrimental it can be to you, your health, like I say, your well-being. And we're going to find out that as we allow ourselves to be clear up here in our heads, it makes us more effective in other areas of our lives. So I seek professional help. And one of my big ones is meditating. I love meditating. Because if you can meditate at least 30 minutes a day, just to get somewhere, I'm going to say more than 30 minutes, you should at least meditate twice a day. And the reason I say that is because of this. God is always giving instructions. He's always giving instructions, but a lot of instructions we miss because we can't hear, because we're always, how we are. We're grinding, right? Everybody's in grind mode. Everybody's chasing a bag. You see what I'm saying? But God is steady giving instructions, and we're chasing bags and grinding, and we're missing it. You see what I'm saying? So I meditate. I take at least, 30-minute periods twice a day and just meditate so I can hear. I'm not saying anything. I just need to hear, because God is always speaking. He's always speaking. He's speaking right now. You see what I'm saying? And if you can just quiet the noise, then you can hear clearly. And once you do that, like I said, it's rejuvenating. And more so than anything, it's encouraging, because you've gotten instructions. You see what I'm saying, from the Lord, and it eases your mind. It eases your mind. So that meditating is one of my biggies, and I love to go. I'm pretty sure y'all see pictures. I love to go near water. John got a lot of revelations. You know what I'm saying, standing on the island, right? You see what I'm saying. So guess what? I mean, it's beautiful. You can just go, somewhere near water. I love going near water and just enjoying, the elements. So that's some of my keys and my pet peeves as far as it relates to, my mental capacity. But then let me say this. Like I said, I'm gonna deal with the natural and the spiritual, right? But then you got to go over here. The Bible said, "Let this mind be in me, which was also in Christ Jesus." So now my thought process is not going to be the same. You see what I'm saying? The natural, mind can't supersede the supernatural mind. The mind of Christ, once it takes over up here, then a lot of the worrying and the anxieties and the anguish, it kind of calms all that. So yeah,
that's good. Yeah, come on, Ab, jump in there.
Yeah, man. I gotta give it to you, real twin. Like I don't want to disclose too much, but I feel like the people and I feel like the viewers deserve that. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that, I'm gonna go back to a situation that happened to me, bro. And it's hard to kind of answer some of the questions that you're asking, but especially after seeing that Jacob Blake video. So in my mind, all I'm thinking about is the way the way he was perceived. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you would take that same face and put a white man's face, they would have allowed him to go to the vehicle. So there's a perception already that's systemic, that's created, that in a way that he's being already viewed as an enemy. So therefore he's a threat no matter what he would have did. He could have ran around the vehicle and he still was a threat. So the reason why I want to touch on that, Twan, and I think that is so important, is because I went through the same situation identically that he went through with my daughter, my kids, and the situation that happened at my home. You know what I'm saying? Me and my wife, we're having a discussion, adult discussion. We grown, so we can have an argument in our room, And because of the unhealthy relationship that I had with my kid's mother, she called the police to my home, right? So when the police, because of that unhealthy relationship, the way the cops approached my door, they had it in their mind that they were going to diffuse a horrible situation or a domestic situation as a black man. So when they approached my home, they drew guns on me, not even knowing the situation. But here's the kick, Taunt. But when we got to court, they dropped all the charges and they had me agree that they had probable cause so I wouldn't sue them. That's what they said. They said, we don't want a lawsuit, so we'll drop all the charges if you say we had probable cause. So I understand exactly what that young guy is going through, because the backstory of that situation is there may have been a domestic dispute or something was going on with his girlfriend, right? So that unhealthy relationship, man, and we don't know how that transpired or how that transitioned to that call. So them cops, because black, blah, 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 when they get there, they're automatically in their mind thinking violence. So when that situation happened then you have the DSS folks come in, and then they start to tear your home up, because now they have to come up with a reason to find you or vilify you. So not only instead of coming in the home and piecing the home back together, and this all plays a part. I'm telling you guys, this all plays a part in the black family, in the black mindset, because there's factors that we have to deal with that other people aren't having to deal with. I'm not saying that other people aren't going through what we're going through. I'm saying the perception is that we're all bad. We're all doing this. We're all selling drugs. We're all indulging in this type of activity. Yes, we may have all had a past, but that does not mean we're aggressive. We don't love our children. So we have to do some self-care. We have to tell ourselves sometimes, Swan, that we are good black men, that we still rely on our faith to guide our life. So we have to, there's things that we have to do just to encourage ourselves. And another thing that we need to do is surround ourselves with men of wisdom. That's what saved me. That's what had me not selling drugs. That's what had me give Pastor Jackson, your father, my drug phone. You see what I'm saying? It was me trying to reach out to another man that can guide me, because I was guiding myself. So this new generation, where they're comfortable with guiding themselves, but that leads to ultimately destruction. And I don't want our young folks to end up like that. So we must attach ourselves with wise counsel, with individuals who can help guide us, man. I'm telling you. So that's why I surround myself with people like that. I surround myself with people who I know really love me and respect me as a black man, because if I'm loved and respected as a black man, that same love gets trajected. It has an effect on my children. So, and it's all about confidence. If I have no confidence that I'm doing well, or I'm taking care of my children, or I'm doing the best I can, I start to worry. I start to drown. I start to drown, and I begin to have pity parties for my own self. You see what I'm saying? So we have to surround ourselves with wise counsel, man. We have to. It's very important, Twan. And I think we lost him again.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Freeze. You know the question.
Yeah, no, I agree with what Brute was saying. For me, one of the things I'm a nature lover, period. Whether if I can be around water, that's where I'm going to be at. But if not, I'll sit outside. Sometimes I'll sit outside for hours and just meditate, on a scripture, or meditate on something that he revealed to me throughout the week about a situation going on. Or sometimes just, admiring him, looking at the trees, looking at the clouds, anything like that, to, number one, keep you in a place of humility where you don't get to the point where you're taking everyday things for granted, like we do a lot of times, or we have done. A lot of y'all know I deal with music, so sometimes if I get a certain feeling a certain way, you know what I'm saying, I'll go start making a beat, you know. And once that thing get to riding, you know, it'll keep going, and that's what happens with that. And then prayer for me is different in this season. Like, so I find myself sometimes, like, I wake up in the morning and I won't get out the bed. I'll be laying there for 2 or 3 hours praying, you know, and just whatever name, whatever situation, whatever it is that comes across my mind, just praying for that situation. And you know, the Bible tells us, we were talking about it earlier, but be anxious about nothing. Don't worry about nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, always got to give thanks. You know, make your request known to God, and He'll give you that peace. It's hard to see that right now in the midst of this pandemic. You know, God knew. The word says there's nothing new under the heavens. God knew what season it was, and that's not to take away from anything that's happened. But we, like Brute was saying earlier, we have to remain balanced. And those are just some of the ways I know for me. So nature, like Brute said, meditating, praying, and find something you're good at. You know, write a poem, make a beat with your hands. You know, maybe you can draw, maybe you can paint, whatever you do. You know, find something that you can do to make sure that you don't lose yourself trying to fight for everything else.
I just want to add.
I'm glad you said that, Freeze. Because one of the most important things that you can invest in is yourself, man. And the number one thing within yourself that you need to be investing in is your family. And after your family, your children need to be the investment. So we have so many distractions in the world and other things that we're trying to invest in, and we're missing what's really important, which is the family, man, your wife and your children. And we have to admit to ourselves that everybody does not believe in your God, right? I'm a spiritual man, right? But we have to find a balance because we have to love everyone. So we as Christians, as believers, we have to be very strategic in our approach to people, because it's okay. In my natural mind, it's okay not to. If you want to not believe in God, that's on you. But that does not mean that you have less of a value as a father, and that you cannot invest in yourself and invest in your fatherhood. Because I love God dearly and I serve God, but there's other people that we need to reach and tell that they're doing a great job. Continue up the good work, black man.
Yeah, go ahead, Brute. I know you wanted to chime in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to this mental wellness thing. This one other thing that I was thinking about today. One thing that has helped me is that this media, I don't look at CNN, I don't look at the news and all that stuff anymore. Because it's the same thing over and over and over. They're feeding your mind the same fear, the same anxieties. All these things are happening because we're overindulging in the news. We got to feed our minds something else rather than Donald Trump. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump. We're more concerned about Donald Trump than we're concerned about what are we gonna eat later on tonight. You see what I'm saying? We're consumed with this. You know, and I've turned CNN off because that's the only news source I look at. CNN. I hope I didn't, give them no shout out or anything, but that's the only news source I look at. I turn that off. And at some points, I even turn off social media because it's the same conversations every day. Everybody is talking about the same things. And if you continuously feed your mind that stuff, then guess what? The eye is the lamp of the body. Y'all got to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So whatever it is that you're feeding your eyes, and whatever it is that you're spending more time, soaking in, then of course, and spirits come with that stuff, or anxieties and all these things come with that. So you have to kind of give your mind a break, y'all. You got to rest. get some sleep. You know what I'm saying? You got to get some sleep. You got to work out. I want all y'all to start working out with me soon. We got to get this thing going. You know what I'm saying? We got to get us a little workout regime going. I see you, Freeze, but yeah, because it helps. It helps. It rejuvenates the body, and it definitely keeps the mind fresh and strong when you work out. You know, eating good, all these type of things. There's so many things we got to change, especially today, because if we haven't learned this yet, the world has changed. You see what I'm saying? The world that we knew last year, you won't see that again. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that we got to change in our lives. We can't continue to think the same way. We can't continue to believe that things that we did in 2019. We can't look for that anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because the world has shifted, and it could be to us, especially the believers, that God is shifting too, is trying to do that new thing that he talked about he was going to do. We don't know if this is it or not, so I'm not going to go there. But we gotta definitely put our focus in our minds in some other places, than the elections and the news and the coronaviruses and all these things. Because the more we spend time with that, guess what's happening? That enemy that we are talking about, guess what? He's attacking families. The enemy's attacking children. You see what I'm saying? So we're spending so much time worried about what's going on in the natural realm, and then the boogeyman is out there. That lion that he talked about, roaming, seeking. It's easy because we're so distracted. You see what I'm saying? Our attention and our focus is not where it need to be. You see, we're spending too much time with this elections and all these. We're spending too much time on that. There's a war that's going on in a realm that we're not even paying attention to. There's a war that's going on. You see what I'm saying? And if we don't get over there and engage in it real quick, then guess what? This world that we're living in, you better believe we haven't seen the worst of it, because there's a perilous times that I believe that's still coming. So yeah.
Yeah, it's only like it's not gonna get better, it's gonna get worse. But as believers, we not living for the earth, we living for the afterlife. So and I appreciate, man, the transparency. I see a lot of people comment, really appreciate your testimony, man. If they haven't heard it, that's a powerful testimony. We appreciate all y'all. Appreciate y'all bearing with me. I'm down here in Hopkins. Y'all already know. Shout out to Government Master with that bad broadband down here in Hopkins. Speaking of politics, yeah, but we're gonna move along. You gonna get this first one, then who will Freeze, then Ivan, then Brute, then you can finish off. Hey, this is I think an important question too, man, because I think y'all kind of touched on it. It need to be talked about. What are some core principles you tell your children as a Black father? Because, man, I feel like that is just like glossed over. What are some core, not necessarily, some traditional, not necessarily, some preference things, but like core principles, like God gave us, thou shalt not kill. Okay, that you can't get around that. Thou shalt not steal. All that, the core principles. You go ahead, Free, start it off. That you tell your children.
Yeah, again, I'm dealing with some young kids, but I participate with the youth ministry at church, so I'm around different age kids, and so one of the I know you said not to be cliche, but it's so important because accessibility is so key to the influence of kids, our children nowadays, and they have access to everything. We talk about the the Cardi B's and the Megs and all of this stuff. So
don't get them started.
Yeah, wisdom and power. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Wisdom and power.
So but seriously, I tell kids, don't be afraid to be yourself. Because they see the videos, they see their friends, they see their peers, they see all these different groups of people, like Brute was saying, they see it in the media, they hear it everywhere on how to be like somebody else. And Tremaine, I believe, mentioned it earlier. So now we have a generation of kids looking up to people who aren't representing who we really are. That's within the church and outside of the church. You know what I mean? And so even for young kids, like my daughter, she's 5, but I tell her the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, be patient. Don't try to force yourself to learn as fast as somebody else, or don't get frustrated just because you can't do something like somebody else or something like that. Because a lot of these kids, whether they're young, teenager, adolescent, they're impatient. You know what I mean? We're impatient as adults, but you know, God done took us through some things by the grace of God. He gave us the wisdom to understand. If we would have learned how to be patient when we were younger, we wouldn't have ended up in a lot of situations we were in. You know, so God first, patience, and again, don't be ashamed to be lame, as the world calls it. You know, acronym I use for lame is called laughing at my enemies. You know, my haters, whatever. Because anybody who's trying to get me, number one, to do anything outside of the will of God, you know, that's an enemy. But anybody who me personally going against my own personal convictions, and they're trying to pull me out of that, that's not somebody I need to surround myself around. So, you know, like I said, God first, patience, and be mindful of who you surround yourself around.
Yeah, that's good.
Those are the main ones.
Yeah, that's good, Corey. Go ahead, Ivan. What's your core principle?
I wrote a few down earlier. One of the ones that really was dear to my heart, Twan, and I put respect women no matter what others may think of them. Let me tell y'all why I said that. I was having a conversation with my son. I'm being transparent. I'm having a conversation with my young man, teenager, and he was talking to a young lady, and he put her down. He said a statement. He said, "I don't want to talk to you because you got too many bodies on you."
Wow.
And if you think of what bodies mean you done had sex with a few people, right? So then I took him to the side because I'm playing daddy. I went through a 13-year-old phone. Y'all know me. That's my son. So I went through his phone. So I put him to the side and said, "Son, let me holler at you right quick." And that's exactly how I talked. I said, "Let me holler at you right quick." I said, "I need you to respect women no matter what." I said, because you don't know what that young woman had to go through. I said, you don't know what that girl's life experience was at her home or outside of her home. I said, so you respect every woman. I said, I don't care if she got 30 bodies on her. I said, you don't approach her with that. I said, because you know how it feels when people talk about you or they make fun of you, right? So I said, you don't ever do that to somebody else because they feel that same exact way. I said, you respect our young women, period. I don't care if they got bodies. Point number 2, work hard, man. Nothing will be given to you. I told him, I look my sons in the face. Nothing will be given to you, young black man. You will have to work for everything. And I said, don't be surprised if you even got to work harder than your peers. I said, but we're not going to focus on that. You're going to focus on working hard and being the young, awesome, successful black man that you can be. Point number 3, I said, allow me to assist you. Everyone needs help, son. Yeah. I said, you are not here alone. Allow me to assist you. I said, don't be afraid to ask me for help. I don't care how bad it may seem. I don't care how easy it may seem to be to you. I said, don't ever think I'm not here to assist you. You allow me to assist you until you feel like you can think for yourself and be the man that I raised you to be for yourself. Then I could back off and then we could be friends. I tell my boys, I'm not your friend. Especially I tell this to my daughter. She hates it, but I love her. I'm not your friend, sweetheart. I love you. When you turn 18, 21, we can go chill and have a drink together. Yeah, I'm a minister, and I whine every once in a while. Hey, it is what it is. I'm not killing nobody. Come on, I tell my daughter. I know that's crazy, but yeah, man, you allow me to speak to you. Let me think for you. I don't mind helping you. So don't be scared to ask for help because you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that trait when you get older. You can't do it all by yourself. All right. Point number 4. I told him you can't choose to fail, but if you fail, it's okay. But it's on you. It's your decision if you give up. That's a decision you make. You make that decision. If you decide to give up, that's on you. But it's okay to fail. You don't make mistakes. But if you decide to give up, that's your decision, son. And I tell my boys all the time, and my wife can tell you, I'll come out the blue, man, in the middle of the house, 7 o'clock at night, call everybody to the table, and I start talking wisdom into them. And this morning, I said, how my young black kings doing? I said, I love y'all. Y'all gonna be successful, man. I pump success into them, bro. Because when I was out there selling drugs and I was out there running the streets, man, I didn't have that, man. You know, I had it from afar, and my father passed away, but I ain't have that, man. So I'm pumping success in my kids because you're gonna know at least you got dad pump morals into you, values and discipline, and pump. Don't be scared of discipline. I'm gonna discipline you, but I bet you I'll love you even more. I'll love you more than I discipline you. I guarantee you.
That's good, bro. Go ahead, bro. What's your core?
Real quick. My main one today, right now, there's quite a few that I've instilled in my children over the years. But today, the one that I have really instilled into my kids today is accountability.
Yeah.
And when I say that, is what me and my family, what we do. They're in Atlanta. Me and my wife, we're here. But I want to know where you are. I let them know where I am. You see, it's accountability because the way this world is, like they say, the way it's set up today, you never know. You know, when you might find yourself in a situation, you could be abandoned somewhere, or you know, like for instance, when it's time to come home, a text come across, a group text, I'm on my way home, or I'm in such and such location. And that's really important because, like I said, the way that this world, the evilness and all the things that are taking place in this world, you never know. And so accountability is real big right now. We communicate about every little move that we make. Any decisions that's being made, we want to make sure that we talk to their dad or their mom about decisions that's being made. And then prayer precedes everything. Prayer precedes everything. Like I said, I'm gonna deal with every question from a natural standpoint and a spiritual standpoint. I've always placed this inside of my children, especially at a young age. They were taught to get a verse that means something or that you can relate your life to and pray that. And what happens is the more you pray that, you see these things that you're believing for manifestation in your life, you see those things manifest when prayer precedes any and everything that you do. So,
yeah. Go ahead,
Joe, something just came to me, man, and it's I thank God, man. When people we run into trouble as black men and as people when we separate the spiritual from the physical. And the reason why I say that is because when you do that, you live a double life now. Because now you got the spiritual side and you're one way, and then you got the man side and you're living a totally different life. So when we don't put the two together, and make that good peanut butter and jelly sandwich, we're gonna run into some problems. So you gotta intertwine the natural with the spiritual, because the spiritual has to guide the natural. You see what I'm saying, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead.
One has to supersede the other. One it has to. We were instructed to kill the flesh daily. And so guess what? I know. Naturally, we want to act out. We want to cut up as fathers. We're our family's resource. You see what I'm saying? We're all these things. We're their protectors. We want to be providers. We want to be all these things, man. And I know how upsetting it is and how we can get in our feelings. And I only think is right because of course, if he didn't want us to, to operate like this, and you wouldn't have put me inside of this body. So I'm gonna act up sometime. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna cut a few ears off. When you're talking about my kids, you know what I'm saying? When you got to understand those things are gonna happen. But like we're talking about, we can't let that man, you see what I'm saying, just rule our life, because if he rule your life, then there's no place in your life for God. So
Hey, let's stay right there. And we gonna stay right there. We gonna skip a cut, but we're gonna go to because y'all hitting on something that I think, and I hear the spirit speaking. So as black fathers, because why I'm saying this, how important is faith to you as a black father? And y'all was saying it, but I think we need to really articulate that too, because I think, and why let me say this, why I say this, and homeboys, Freeze, you got homeboy, you got, it's like it's for some reason it seems, I'm not saying it's true, it seems like a black man has the hardest to grasp the concept of his faith, almost where like it's a weakness. Like for example, T.I. said, if you're scared, go to church. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're scared, go to church. Like why is it that is, like why is it having a faith and not necessarily the building church? I'm not even talking about the building church. Why is it that you got black men that's scared to run to the faith, like run literally to their faith because they feel like it's a weakness? So how important it is, how important is faith to you as a black father? You know what I'm saying? So Freeze, you can go, Brute, and then Ivy, you finish off. How important it is to you, Freeze, as a black father? Because like I said, man, it seems like I don't know. It might be just me, but I feel like people really be like trying you, when you wear your faith like it's a weakness or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it might be me.
Hey, how the deacons used to do? They stick that finger up and tip on out. Nah, but seriously, man, to put it all in one big basket, I don't think there's any words to express how important it is, especially as a black father in the society that we live in. That's from the worldly standpoint. You have again generational curses, systemic racism. We have
Speak on it, bro.
families where we're dealing with a lot of most of us deal with African American women. A lot of these women have been hurt, they've been broken. You know what I mean? They're still dealing with things from before, which sometimes will cause us to realize we're still dealing with things that we haven't dealt with before, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier, being able to, I can call either one of these faces that's on my screen right now and talk to y'all about anything. You know what I mean? That's because of my faith. I have brothers in the faith. And so the other side of it is everything in the natural sense is it takes more as a black man to get achieved than other people. Like I was saying earlier, we have to work twice as hard. You know what I mean? We have to save more money. It seems like our communities are still, for lack of better words, suffering from ignorance. You know what I mean? Because of the things we're sitting here talking about, we're not. I thank God, my dad knows the Lord. My dad is, saved. He's a man of God. You know what I mean? Both of my grandfathers were men of God. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I've always seen it from a close but not so close perspective. But because nowadays it's so important, because of so many other African American fathers don't want to believe it. To be honest, that's where that whole song "We Don't Care What They Say" came from. Because I'm tired of going to minister in a sense to one of my brothers or something, and I'm getting challenged about a preacher that takes money when they come to church, or the pastor that did this and did that with that, like all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it turns people away, but there's, like Brew was saying, there's two sides to it. We can do better from our perspective of understanding of how to relay the message to them, but there's also a level of accountability. The Bible talks about don't cast your pearls before swine. So what I mean, it's so important that we don't lose faith, because there's so many, especially young black men who are around us who don't have men of faith in their life, who are looking at us as those examples. You know what I mean? And sometimes, that also comes with the look, you ain't listening, so I can't tell you nothing. You know what I mean? And as hard as we want to it is to talk about it, how many times did we have to learn the hard way because we didn't listen to mom, we didn't listen to daddy, we didn't listen to uncle, we didn't listen to whoever that person of faith was in our life tell us something, and then we went out there and got burned from it. You know what I mean? And so to me, like I said, there's no words to express how important it is to be a black father and have faith, especially again, like me, I'm a new father. I've been 35 years of my life, I never had to worry about a child, you know what I mean? And so my faith challenge has been like, I literally, man, just got to a season where I really could be at peace with everything, because I'm so concerned with trying to figure this out, trying to figure that out as a black father in America. You know, y'all know my employment issue, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't working for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? By the grace of God, I've been at work every day this week. Come on, somebody. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Glory, hallelujah. But seriously, man, even that as a black father, that was challenging. Because, you know, y'all know me, I'm not lazy. But for the situation, it was like, as crazy as this sounds, it was like he just had to keep drilling in my head. It was the best for me to be the one to be at home with the kids. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, I got to get another job. You know what I'm saying? The car, whoop-de-whoop. I try to be the provider, you know, financially and all of that. And God had to deal with me, you know, because of my faith. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, it's always important, but especially in this season as a black father, man, we got to hold on to God's unchanging hand, because that's what's going. You know, that's the standard that's lifted up. You know what I mean? From faith to what? Glory to glory. So
go ahead. How important is the faith to you as a black father?
Man, it's very important, man. It's very. I know you touched on two questions. Man, faith is very important, bro. Like I just don't see how a black man can operate or can maneuver the barriers in this world without having faith. Because it's easy for us to have faith in anything else we're doing. We got faith that when we show up to work, that paycheck coming on Friday, and we're working as hard as we can for that paycheck. So it's important that we use that same effort biblically, you know, to cover our family spiritually. And then another thing is, to answer the other part of your question initially, the black man is turning away from the church, or they're not really relying on their faith, because people of the cloth who I'm calling imposters are acting like they're speaking for all of us, that us believers. And let me tell you what I mean when I say that, because it's almost like it's become popular to make jokes about the church, to make jokes about people of faith, or to make jokes about, you know, everything that the church is doing or everything the church ain't doing. And when has it ever been cool for Daniel's son to disrespect Mr. Miyagi, right? And I'm saying that because when people are disrespecting, people of the cloth are disrespecting other believers, or saying, or they get in their feelings and they leaving churches and they go into another church, bad talking this pastor or this minister. Only thing you're doing is keeping people from coming to the body. And people don't like to admit, as men, we are very impressionable, whether you like it or not. I mean, there is a stigma. Yeah, we're macho, we're this, we're that. But as much as macho we are, we have that feminine aspect from our mother as well. We have that nurturing as well. So you know, people of the cloth are talking about other people, and they're not making black men want to know about their God. When I came to Christ and I gave my drug phone to your father, the way he was talking about this God made me want to at least get to know him. I might not wasn't in the church and I might not even know a thing about God, but I knew in my heart that I at least wanted to find out the God who was blessing him and who he was serving. So we as believers need to operate with a level of a standard in the body. You know, we have to operate with a level of dignity as a Christian and as a person of God, or anybody in our circle is not, they're not going to want to come to God. And I say that because my homeboy, one of my closest friends, I grew up on the river. One of my closest friends, man, we was talking. He sent me a text. I was telling him about God, and the next thing you know, he texted me, and we was talking. He was like, "Yo, Ivan, I see he's called me Shy. He was like, "Yo, Shy, I see the growth in you." And he texted me, and this dude, he said, "Maybe one day you'll be my pastor." And this is. And he know me for selling drugs. I used to give him drugs to sell years ago, 12 years ago. And this man, and the reason why I say that is because it's important that we as believers display a level of dignity and respect for the body and the church, the physical body and the building body. People like to talk about the building as if the building is some sort of just horrible place and you need to get out the building, get from behind the walls, but you can't do one without the other. Yeah, you can operate outside of the walls and do your outreach ministry, but you have to come to the body and fellowship. You can't neglect that very important component. Two, and the reason why I said that, Joe, is because it's been plenty of time as a believer that as a man of faith, that I have to stop myself from taking things overboard. For instance, playing basketball, I still got a level in me of competitiveness, so it's things in me that I have to, bring subjective to the spirit. It's things in me I have to stop doing. So it's very important, man, that we really represent the body of Christ, man, because people need it. The people are saying that we out here, we ain't doing nothing. The church ain't. That's a lie, man. There's plenty of people that's out here living and being an example just because they're living Christ-like. Not perfect, just being Christ-like, man. That's it. You ain't gotta be perfect. And there's plenty of us who are regular, man. Go home to our families. We get into arguments with our wives. Don't sit up and say you ain't arguing with your wife. I argue with my wife. I'm in love with my wife. I love my wife to death. We argue sometimes. We have disagreements. I argue with the kids sometimes. Family members fall out. We are regular people, just like anybody else, man. And people need to know that, man. Come to Christ and get you some of that, man. Get you some of that faith, because it's out here, man. I'm telling you, it's here, bro. It's out here.
King Jesus in the building.
Go ahead on, Brute.
For me, man, faith. They said pretty much all of my. No, they didn't. I'm not gonna say. No, they didn't. They didn't say all this. But it's because of faith. I believe it's real important because it's because of faith, the faith that I have in God, that my family didn't become a statistic. Before I received Christ, me and my wife got married young, 25 years old. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about being a husband, about being a father. I didn't know anything about that, because I really, growing up, I lost my dad at a real early age. I think I was maybe 2 years old when I lost my dad. So I didn't have my dad in the house. I didn't have that example. I didn't have that earthly father figure, to teach you, the things that we're talking about, that we teach our children now, the principles and all these type of things. I didn't have that, not making any excuses, but it's important, as you're growing up, to have these figures in your life, these mentors in your life, to teach you a lot of things that you're going to encounter, later in life. I didn't have that. So I got married at a young age, and me and my wife, just to make this long story short for a second time, me and my wife, we separated for 6 years. 6 years. We got the only thing that brought us back together is my faith. I received Christ. A month later, me and my wife got back together. But when we got back together, I was still clueless, as it relates to my responsibilities, as far as, being a husband. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to be a father to my kids. Like I said, because the examples that I had, growing up, uncles and things like that, they wasn't teaching me, how to be a dad. They was teaching me how to chase women. They was teaching me all these things. This is the type of thing that I was being taught, when I was growing up. So now that I got a wife, I don't know how to be a husband. Now that I got kids, I don't know how to be a father. but God gave me his son, Jesus Christ. Me and my wife got back together, and this was so funny. I didn't even know how to pray when we got back together. You know, we got saved. We would get on our knees and we wasn't saying anything. We were just holding hands. You know, we was praying. We was praying. You know, we would just be there. You know, wasn't saying anything. I didn't know how to pray. I still, you know, didn't understand. You know, my responsibilities and what I was supposed to do as it relates to being a husband or father. So God picked me up 2 months later and sent me to Korea. I was stationed in Korea for a year, and I couldn't turn my TV on. All I did was read my word for a year. I visited Prayer Mountain. I went through this transformation over in Korea, came back, you know, speaking in tongues, you know, all these type of things. And I was getting instructions. So now, instead of me being taught how to be a man, how to be a father, how to be, you know, from man, God was instructing me. You see, he was teaching me how to pray. He was teaching me, you know, the things I need to do with my family. You see what I'm saying? How to teach them wisdom. You know, let's talk about teaching them wisdom, especially in a time like this. You know, when we as Black people, we are targeted. Of course, we are targeted. So we got to teach, you know what I'm saying, our children wisdom. We got to teach our family wisdom. Now I had all that. You see what I'm saying? I was equipped because of my faith in God. And had it not been for that relationship, or God established in that relationship, like I said, my family would have been a statistic. But I thank God. So faith to me is so important because of faith, I'm here, you know, with my family. My marriage has been under all kinds of attacks. My kids have been under all kinds of attacks. But because of my faith in God, you know, none of that stuff worked. You know, I mean, it was so many times, you know, we've been, you know, attacked as far as me and my wife, you know, being pulled apart, my kids, all these type of things. But it's because of my faith in God. It allowed me to put life in perspective. A lot of things, you know what I'm saying, that we didn't have perspective about. Now everything is in perspective. And because of that faith in God, a lot of these questions that was asked tonight, I was gonna answer all these questions with this answer right here. My life is in perspective now. You see what I'm saying? I know who's in control. I know who's protecting my children. You see what I'm saying? Because of the promises that he's made. All I got is his word. And once I made up my mind that I'm just going to believe the word, I'm just going to be that radical. I'm not going to, you see what I'm saying? I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to trust him at his word. You see what I'm saying? And once I trust him at his word, he did one better. He woke me up at 3:30 in the morning one morning, filled me with the Holy Ghost. Come on. So he took it to another level. So I can talk about that experience when I was filled. I know the exact time I was filled. So he sealed me. You see what I'm saying? Now I can provide for my family in the natural. Now I can provide for them in the spirit because I can protect them because of the seal that's on me. You see what I'm saying? That Holy Ghost. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that fire. You see what I'm saying? We was fire baptized. So now I can, you know, because of my faith, I'm now able to not only give them what they need naturally, but I'm able to cover them spiritually. And then this is one thing that was so beautiful that God spoke to me. When we came back together, my family was broken. My wife was broken. My kids was broken because I was gone. They had been attacked because their protector wasn't there. That's why it's so important, you know, not only for men to be in the home and to be there, but to also be men of faith, because we have, you see what I'm saying, a God that we can go to, that we can trust in to help us in our time of need. Because if there's been a time that we need, you know, to look to something bigger than ourselves, is now. You see what I'm saying? We need instructions. We need to be wise, and he imparts all this wisdom to us. But my family was so broken, and because of what he placed inside of me, I was able to give to them. You see what I'm saying? To help them heal. This is a part of our responsibility. You see what I'm saying? But if I hadn't received Christ, then it would have been a mess. Yeah, so. Man,
that's powerful. Hey man, one of my favorite scriptures: man cannot live by bread alone.
Yes, sir.
About every word that proceeds out of the guy's mouth, man. And like you said, that bread of life, man. That bread of life, man. So I appreciate. Hey, you know what I appreciate all three of you all brothers is, man, the transparency and the vulnerability to show men. Like, and I haven't spoken on that you know, like you said, we impressionable. We men are impressionable, and it's this stigma, is this stereotype, or this things that we even adopting ourselves, that we cannot be like vulnerable and let our guard down and just be genuine and let other men see, like, man, like Bru, you said it from the beginning. Man, I go to therapy. That's another stigma that, most, especially black men, man, I don't need no therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like you say go on the lake. Like people think you gotta go on the lake and go fishing. No, just go look at the water. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So with that, this is gonna be our closing mark because I know all of us got the kids. We fathers. Freezy, I haven't got his. Getting ready for y'all in virtual, right? The kids in virtual.
Yeah.
I got two little ones giving my wife a run for money upstairs. So I just want y'all to do the closing mark. We do like how we start off. Ivan, you go first, then Freeze, you go second, then let the OG. I always let the OG finish off. Let the OG go ahead, Ivan. Closing remarks, man. Anything to let the people know.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to him, man. It's important, man, that brothers get together, man, and we can have a transparent conversation, man, where we put the real cards on the table and talk about it. So I want to say thank you, man. And I just want to encourage, man, Facebook world, man, and the fathers out there, man, continue to just persevere, man. Like, I always use the example, man. If you really want to see how important you are in the lives of your family, man, take your 1-year-old son, your 1-year-old son or your 2-year-old son that starts walking, right? Walk a straight line, and walk and see how exactly he mimics your steps. Like he'll start walking like you, and then try to do it maybe a couple weeks later and start walking crooked, just walk wobbly, just out the blue. And the next thing you know, your son wobbling. And men that we try to lead by example. It's important as black men that don't allow all this turmoil in this world going on right now to discourage you. I'm here to tell you, black women, black men, you are awesome. Don't give up. You continue to do what you're doing. If there's little adjustments that you need to make in your life, reach out to someone, a man of wisdom, somebody you can trust, and seek some counsel, man. And don't forget about God, man. I know it may seem cliche and but don't forget about God, man. I'm telling you, it's not by chance that a lot of my best friends didn't drown in that water 2 months ago. I had like 5 or 6 friends, close friends, that almost drowned in a lake, and all my friends said the same thing. It was God. One of my friends said, "Shy, I don't go to church all the time, and I don't have a lot of faith, but I know it was God." But I said, "You got more faith than you need. That you got more faith. That's a mustard seed. You got more faith than you need." So a lot of the things that we think just happened by chance, man, it was God, man. Because your family didn't break up because of God, man. It wasn't you. It wasn't that ring you bought her. It wasn't that. Them roses you came home to make your wife take you. Man, it was God that put it in your wife's heart to take you back, to forgive you. It's God that put it in your children's heart to forgive that father that hadn't been there. But that don't mean you can't come back into them children's lives. It's not by chance. Nothing, man. I'm telling you, it's God, it's faith. Activate your faith, black men, and be encouraged, man. Be encouraged.
Yeah, appreciate that. Go ahead, Freeze. Closing remarks.
But I like to echo Shy with thanking you, Joe, for having us again. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. This was an awesome experience. I'm blessed. I definitely received something to encourage me even in this very season. To all the black fathers, not all fathers, period, because this is the segment we're discussing on tonight, especially to all black fathers. Don't give up. Shameless plug, if you're in the Columbia area, get a hold of someone at the Midlands Fatherhood Coalition. There's a lot of black fathers out here trying. I know you're trying. You have a lot of different things going on, a lot of different issues that may be holding you back. I myself am an example of that. I had several different things, lost my job, you know what I mean? I had license issues years ago, all these different things that maybe you feel like is holding you up from getting where you should be at for your family, for yourself, whatever your situation is. So be encouraged. Don't give up, my brothers. You know, you may not know me, I may know you, but I love you. I definitely be praying for all of us, all fathers, especially you all that's on the screen. But again, just thank you, man. Thank you, and thank you again.
Yeah, that's good, bro. Appreciate for that plug. Yeah, they need that. Go ahead, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Pastor Antoine. Thoroughly enjoyed tonight. This conversation, oh man, y'all know I love to talk. I'm a talker. I love to talk. This one thing came to mind that said, but made of himself no reputation. Mm. I say that to say this to all Black men, fathers, period. I just want to say that we gotta lose this mentality that we're too manly to reach out to another man if we're hurting, or if we need assistance, or something that we don't know. Like I was saying, a few minutes ago about not knowing how to be be the head of a household. I didn't know. I didn't go to anybody. God, came to me. But we as men, we got to lose this whole mindset. Like, that it's embarrassing to not know how to, or to possess, let me say, the know-how to do or to perform a certain, responsibility that you have as a father. We got to be able to, we have a responsibility too, to be open enough to, so people can feel comfortable coming to us, with issues, because us as men, it's hard for a man to open up and pour his heart out. Mm-hmm. That's why I said in the beginning, but made of himself no reputation. So you have to swallow pride, lose all that stuff, because there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of challenges that we have faced, that we're going to face as Black men, and it's going to take, all of us helping one another, in whatever capacity that, the Bible says, after you've been strengthened, go back and strengthen your brother. There's some areas, Pastor Twan, that you're strong in, that, you know what I'm saying? I need to talk to you, Pastor, you know what I'm saying? Because I need some insight here. We need to be able to do that. We need to be able to, we need to be able to be comfortable doing it. And then also we need to, have the right, you see what I'm saying, mentality or demeanor, so people can feel comfortable approaching us when they have problems. I think, we really need to stick a pin in that, because that's a biggie. Like I said, to get a man to talk about his financial difficulties, or you see what I'm saying? We want to make everybody think that we got it going on all the time. And that is so far from the truth. Just because family's doing good, that don't mean you're doing good. You got to understand something, that we all got a cross to carry. So it might be your season to struggle a little bit. You said, I went through it. Fort Hood, Texas, I still remember. This is when me and my family got back together. We went through it. We was going through it so bad. I was stationed Fort Hood. We was good, but I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't ashamed to pawn, whatever. I was selling stuff, to make sure that I provided for my family. And you got to be willing to, you see what I'm saying, to take that pride and throw it in the trash can. You see what I'm saying? So you can receive the help that you need. You can't be afraid to ask for help today, man. I'm trying to, because we're supposed to bear one another's burdens, and we don't know. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we can pray and we can feel you in the spirit, but it's even better when you can open up your mouth, especially as a brother. Come on, man. That's not a thing that I was taught. This is what my uncles taught me when we was little. My brothers, we was taught that men in our family didn't cry when people died, and that's still to this day. My uncles, they but I was doing a eulogy at my uncle's funeral a few months ago, and I had never cried in my life, y'all. I was trying to end the eulogy and just broke down crying in the pulpit. It just came out of nowhere. My wife can testify. I don't know where. I just broke down crying. You see what I'm saying? In front of my uncles, these same men that that taught us that it's not good. You know what I'm saying? For a man, it shows it's a sign of weakness, but it's not. It's a sign of humility. And when you humble yourself, God can come in, and he'll send somebody to assist you. You see what I'm saying? He can't help you if you're not in a humble state. So it's important.
Yeah. Well, I thank everybody that joined us. Again, these three brothers see is exactly what y'all get. These conversations that y'all seeing, this is who these brothers are. if you would know, if you go offline and talk to each one of them, this is how they're gonna be offline too. And that was what, you know, the pre-conversation we discussed. We wanted them to bring the authentic, genuine representation of themselves. They didn't hold back. They gave you straight what the Lord placed on their heart through their either experiences or the revelations right on the spot, man. And that's what it's about. Black men, all men, this is what it's about. We are here. The Bible says iron sharpens iron. And you can't be sharpened being or being, you know, something else. You have to be an iron. And that's a part of being the iron. So again, I thank you all because, you know, I got something for each one of you all. I mean, I always do. And that's why I told, you know, I asked you all to be here. We are brothers, you know, in Christ. We are brothers for life. You know, we all have our own personal experience with each other. And that's what made us build our relationship. So I thank you all, brothers. I appreciate your time, man. I can't wait till we get out of this pandemic so we can get up. I'm seeing Freeze. I see the rest of y'all, but you know, hoping we'll get up once this pandemic over. And these jokers wear their masks and we can get up out of here, man. But they don't want to get their mask.
Y'all know I gotta cook for y'all. I gotta cook for y'all soon.
Man, you got that grill. We got, hey, boy, that grill. We see you. We see you. That thing be, hey, boy, you got me want to go get one. I told you that.
I told you, don't deny yourself, man. Go on and get that thing. You gotta get that.
Well, you made that thing look real. You need to be a spokesperson for that for them people, man. Hey, I appreciate you, Ivan, man. You know I love you, bro. Freeze, I love you, bro. Big Brute, I love you. I love all y'all. Bro. I appreciate it. Tell the families. We say hello again. I know we haven't seen each other because of the circumstances we in. I look for a day that we all can get together, go to Brew House, up all this food, right?
I got
you. Yeah. So
if he let us come over there.
Yeah.
He talking about we gotta wait. We gotta wait.
We're gonna pull up. We're gonna just pull up on him. We're gonna just pull up on him. He gonna be on Facebook, show that thing. We're gonna pull up on him. We're gonna pull up on him. Yeah, but I appreciate y'all, brothers, man. Hey, like I say, man, y'all, you know, we all got each other contacts, man. We stay in touch, man. And I mean, we'll do this again for sure. We're picking up today, do it again. Just talk about something else, man. Because I like.
We need to do one about this music industry, cuz.
Oh, you know that's coming, Team G. You already know that's coming. You already know that's coming. You know that's coming. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all before we get off. I'm gonna tell y'all that y'all seen the one I did with Chris and them about the black church being the weakest entity in America. So we're gonna do enough. We're gonna put that out there too, man. People, trying to church like that too, talking about the weakest entity in America. I like, man, what kind of
you heard. I kind of spoke on that.
Yeah. We're gonna say because we don't want to get the audience to it. We're gonna make them come back. So y'all tune back in a part 2 of the black church, and then I'm doing it with my brothers. I already Lord said do it with my brother. We're gonna tackle that one. All right.
Let's do it.
I appreciate y'all, brothers. Like I say, I know my family. I know y'all got to get to y'all, man. I hope you have a blessed week. I hope y'all have a blessed rest of the night, man. Get the family my love, and we look forward to seeing y'all next time. All right.
Peace.
Hey, Kansas City's gonna get mauled by Houston next week. I'm out. All day.
Yeah, we still the Super Bowl, baby.
All right, that's good. I got you. All right, bro. Appreciate you.